guys, Mr. C. A lot of hard shit, but I've only got you for 3 days this month. So I look at it and I go, well, you know, we can take it slow and get a little bit, or we can, you know, push it to the extreme. It's not going to kill you, and
I like
you're
the second
grow.
approach. Yep.
Yeah. So talk a little tiny bit about, because you've been finding it a lot harder. Initially, he was doing so good the first day, and I think it's partly just because of being tired. He was doing so good the first day of like probably the first 20 people that I said go her in the white. Boom, he'd be gone, and he'd just go right over and talk to her, and it went really good, spontaneous, and then he came back. And then toward the end of last night, and then for a portion of today, you would argue with him. Go talk to the one in the white. Oh, no, I can't. Oh, she's walking across the street. Oh, she's taller than me. Oh, she's got black shoes. Oh my God, my hair's in the wind. Whatever. And I would just say, will you, fuck you, and go, run, get over there. What the fuck's your problem? Go. And to your credit, you have approached each of them, but you've tried to get me to not force you to.
Yes.
And you weren't doing that before. And it's a terrible habit. So talk about your experience doing it where you wait 5 minutes to approach her, and then you got to run all the way down the block because I keep kicking your ass and I won't let it go, versus you see her and you approach her immediately. What's the difference like for you in terms of both how the interaction goes and how you feel, and how much better it feels to not have me shouting at you,
Right. So
attacking you?
In terms of the two different approaches, you know,
Yeah,
one
either
going
spontaneous,
like
or the one where you're like, no, I can't, no, I shouldn't, yeah, I should, and she keeps walking, and she's going down the street, now across the street, now down the street, and then finally you go and approach her. Look at this gorgeous woman in the white on the left. Yeah. Both of them, but especially on the left. 1 second, we're just going to pause it, and I'm going to send John to go. You'll notice one of the two is missing. I just saw two beautiful people walking by, and I had to send him to go say hi to somebody. So he'll be back in 2 seconds. Hopefully. Hey guys, we had to move from the other table because they were cleaning it. So you'll notice somebody was gone, and now somebody's back. So we were sitting having that, as you probably noticed that somebody was walking by off camera, and two girls, they were beautiful. I think one was Asian, one was Latina. Yeah. And definitely deserving of a compliment. So you got to do it when you got to do it. And so we booted Dr. John here out of the nice warm coffee shop and back out into the cold rain for 2 clients. So how did that go? You were gonna try and get out of it again. I haven't got you trained very well yet.
I tried my best to escape that.
You did. No. It's too tired. No, we're off duty. No, we're blah, blah, blah,
I'm
blah.
not into her at all. But they took it really well. You know, I just went up to her and I was like, hey, you know what? She got scared in the beginning, but then I just lightened it up by laughing
Which
it
is
out.
largely because right now it's nighttime outside.
It's super
and
dark.
the stores are closed.
Yeah,
So
and
it's not ideal. We're
Yeah.
not going to be much more.
even though I took like a wide circle around her, like even still she was like, oh. But it was so natural. I laughed it out and I was like, I didn't mean to scare you. And they started laughing as well. And I was like, I just.
You're doing that. You're doing that really well, by the way. You're spacing when you approach.
Yeah.
Every time I've watched you, you're giving more space at the dark times and whatever.
Right, yeah.
You're doing good. So anyway, carry on.
So, and I just laughed it out and they started laughing even more because they were like, yeah, this is like something, you know, random but like kind of natural. And I was like, hey, I just wanted to say you look really pretty, you look really, really cute. And, you know, I really love your white top. She's like, thank you. And then I let her go.
Cool.
But yeah, like this was also like kind of spontaneous, somewhere in the middle. Honestly, I was like gonna try and like just lie to you and come back halfway, but I was like, no, I'm not gonna cheat. You know,
Can you
sent me
imagine
out.
how much shit I would give you if I saw you do that? Oh,
I was
my God.
just about to do that. I was like, no, you know, let's not cheat. I'll go and I'll approach.
I
and I'll just say,
literally
yeah.
kept you in front of the pizza shop for half an hour last
Yeah,
night.
that was
before
ridiculous.
approach that.
And we saw that girl today again somewhere, I don't know where.
Yeah. So, and how did it feel for you? Because when I said you have to go, immediately you got that trigger fear response again, and then you tried to get out of having to again,
Yep.
and then you caved and just went because you knew I was going to just not shut up about it,
Exactly.
which is good.
Yeah, it's really good.
But what was your experience? How did it feel going like, oh fuck, because that's the thing, is you try and find a situation, and it starts out with just one, and then you get used to that, you know, and it doesn't trigger fear anymore, and then it's like you got to approach 3, and then you got to approach a woman and a guy, and then you got to approach a woman with her parents, and then you got to approach someone out of a moving car, and then you got to approach, and you're constantly trying to find something bigger and more intimidating,
Right.
so that it triggers the fear. Because if you want to build your masculinity, you're actually trying to trigger that fear,
Right.
so that you can overcome it. So like right there, you said, okay, but I wasn't really attracted to her. That's fine. It's fine. Like, as long as you can find something, like you throw yourself into the pool, and then the point is to practice being charming and masculine. So you practice being masculine by overcoming your fear and approaching, and you practice being charming by throwing yourself into it and then finding something you like about her. You don't escalate it. You don't try and get her number. You don't try and game whatever. No. You just try and be charming with her.
Right.
So like you did. You said like, hey, I think you have a beautiful top, blah, 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 blah.
Exactly.
And then you guys have a great night, and then you leave. So you got the opportunity to overcome your fear.
Yep.
She feels incredible and beautiful because you're being authentic. You're telling her what you like about her.
Yeah.
Nobody's harmed in this, and you got to practice being charming because on the fly, you got to learn to find out something about her that you can build her up over.
Yep.
And that's why scripts and that shit is like the worst fucking thing you can do. It's terrible. Guys that do that are fucking retards.
I've seen that in my own approaches that I've done over the last 2 days. The approaches that have been the most spontaneous ones are the ones that went off the most amazing. You know,
Because she picks up on it, it's romantic.
They can like sniff it, they can smell it, you know.
Yeah, it's really
I-
disgusting that the other approach where you have these routines and these scripts, and you walk up to every girl and you say, "Oh my God, I like your eyes. They remind," whatever the stupid script is. It doesn't matter what the script is. It's non-spontaneous and it comes across like a gamey, freaky thing.
Yep.
And those are the guys that are going to get, kicked out of malls by the security. You have problems with the police. You get kicked out of clubs for being a retard. It's not because of feminism. It's because that guy is a fucking retard when it comes to interacting with women. A better way to be is that the woman is actually the center of your interaction. So you walk up to her and you look at her, and whatever it is about her, or even if you're talking to a guy and just being charming in a non-sexual way, and because I'm straight, and so that you can still walk up to a straight or a gay guy or even a couple. You've seen me do it.
Yeah.
And tell them openly, like charm them. And you don't sexualize it, but you're basically just picking something that you think is incredible about them, and then building them up over it. And it's a great skill. It's an amazing social skill. Regardless, So you run over to her. You're building her up around something. She's not your type because she's Asian or she's darker, she's lighter, she's tall or short. It doesn't matter. So that's fine. You're not going to get her number. You're not going to try and sleep with her. You're not going to escalate it. You're not going to date her. But you're practicing being charming with her.
Exactly.
Go, you overcome your fear, you practice being authentically charming, and then you come away. Everybody
Yes.
wins.
Yep.
It's a beautiful thing.
Exactly. I think the best thing to know is, or to remember, is that you cannot control the situation. The situation is out of your hand. You know, you just have to go and do it. That's what I've noted in all these approaches that I've done so far with you. The more I've tried to control the situation and plan it in advance, it's gone the opposite way. It's gone the opposite direction. It's not gone according to my plan. So, just go, you're not in control of the situation, go and just make it spontaneous and see what comes out of it, just go without expectations. And the approaches in which I did have expectations, surprisingly, those are the ones which didn't work out. The ones where, you said there's a girl right in front of you, just go now, and I went immediately. It went really well. It went so well.
The two numbers you got were exactly
The two numbers
that.
were
Like,
exactly spontaneous.
I said it,
approaches.
you went
Yes.
in probably, what would you say, under 2 seconds?
Yeah, and that shocked me.
Boom,
That shocked my brain. I was like, "What the hell? This is me getting a number?"
Yeah.
Like that was shocking. So I think the best way is to not try to be in control of the situation. Just go for it and see what comes out of it. And see how
It's
far
also-
you can take it.
It's also how you build confidence. 'Cause
Yeah.
the confidence is not simply, I've been in this situation before. So let's say you want to go and interact with people in Mexico City. So confidence doesn't come from, I've been to Mexico City 10 times and now this is the 11th time and I know my way around and so I'm confident. No. That's familiarity. Confidence comes from knowing you. So if you know yourself and you know that when, I know myself really well, so I know that when I throw myself into a situation, I'm talking to a woman and it turns out she's lesbian or she's married or she's tall or short or Canadian or English, it doesn't really, none of that matters.
Yeah.
I know that whatever happens in that situation, I know how to pivot with it. I don't know it in advance. And if you ask me as I'm walking up, well, what are you going to do if she's an undercover police officer? I have no fucking clue. But I know that the Clint that is going to be in that moment with her, that Clint pivots incredibly well. He'll handle the situation in some charming way. I have no clue how. And when you live that way, you don't have to figure shit out. You just basically get used to overcoming your fear and you build your confidence in your own ability to figure it out in the moment.
Right.
And then that's a much easier way to live because you don't have to go through 50 million different scenarios in order to feel confident. You only have to basically know yourself. And then when you go into any scenario, it's a business meeting, it's a business interview, you're in an elevator with a model, you start talking with someone and they're a drug lord, you start talking to a woman and her husband comes around the corner and he wants to beat you up. None of it matters. Whatever the situation is, you can pivot with it.
Right.
Knock on wood, I've yet to be beaten up, and I approach 5,000 different women and a lot of different guys and couples and whatever.
Right.
And I came close once in Barranquilla, in
Really?
Carnival. Yeah, that was a bad one.
Oh my gosh.
It was very close, but then I got away. Talked my way out of it.
Oh my gosh. But yeah, that's true. Like even the couple approaches that you made me do yesterday, they were like super uncomfortable. Oh, I did even one today, this evening, you know, and they loved it.
With a couple, right?
With a couple, yeah, and they loved it, like, you know, I made their night, basically.
And you saw the one that I approached when we were walking
Yes,
by.
that was like a pretty long conversation. I was like, what the hell are you talking about, man? Like,
Yeah, she was gorgeous. I forget what she was. I think she was Filipina or Japanese or something. And he was Persian, and he was all tatted up. He had tattoos even on his feet. He was like, and they were both like high society, like really wealthy, powerful, beautiful
Yeah,
people.
it looked like it, yeah.
They looked like a great couple, and we had a lot of fun. We talked to them for what, like 10 minutes?
Easily.
Yeah, and they were laughing and joking. I mean, people love that shit.
So yeah. And probably one more point I want to make is that I think after doing all these like difficult scenarios, right? All these couple approaches, groups, going into restaurants and approaching tables, I think when the time comes for me to approach like just single girls out on the street, it's going to be super easy. You know, because I'm like, oh my gosh, I've done like far more dangerous things, you know, gone inside restaurants. So there's a cute girl just standing across the street or walking by the street. It's not going to be difficult at all. Oh no, please.
Okay, go.
It's the end of the day.
It's
Oh my
11 o'clock
gosh.
at night.
I'm always careful when I open my mouth in front of Clint. I just want to be careful, you know. I stopped looking at girls now anymore. I'm like,
He's put something in my
if he
my
even,
drink.
yeah,
to make
if he
me
even
pass out.
if he notices me looking at someone, he knows that I like her, and he will just push me towards her. You know?
So
And
how are we doing on a couple of the goals? We had, if I remember, you can correct me. You were intimidated about doing hits inside a space, inside a restaurant or a building. You were intimidated by taller women, blonde women. Was that it? Was there one more? There was one more.
there's probably I think groups.
And groups.
Groups, yeah.
Okay, so how are we
So-
doing with nailing those?
I think we've hit all of them.
Okay.
All of them.
I know we've done a few, like I'm going to say maybe 5 indoor ones.
Easily.
More?
Yeah. We've done 5 of them at least.
Okay.
And all different situations. So one was like a mall, 2 were restaurants. One was a very classy restaurant. You know, it was like a patio last night. So
You did
that
good. You talked to them for a long time.
I could have
You were
actually
there for 5 minutes.
Yeah.
You'll see the video on here. It won't. It was probably attached to the one last night. You'll
Okay.
see 2 ladies sitting down at a patio.
Yep. So I could have taken that conversation even further, but I just didn't like feel like it. So I was like, you know what, guys, have a good night and stuff like that. But they were like really into it after like 2 minutes. So we hit that one. Inside is done. We hit groups. We hit a lot of groups. So groups means groups like couples.
What's the biggest group that you've done so far? 3?
I think I've. Oh no, it was like 4.
Okay.
Like 3 girls and a guy.
No, actually 5. I think. Remember the people that were walking by? She was like a little petite Asian, I think. And
Okay.
we had. I don't have anything to trigger. We did kind of a very weak side stop.
Oh, yeah.
And,
Yeah,
and then they
yeah.
were giggling afterwards.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And
But you did still get the compliment across. You still
Exactly,
interrupted
yeah.
them.
And
You still get like 98% of the points.
Right. So yeah, so we've done like 5 or 6, you know, group size. So yeah, these 2 are done. Which is the third one?
Blonde and tall.
Yeah. So approached like
You've had
tall
a number
girls.
of blondes, right?
I've had a number of tall girls, you know, and they all took it really well, you know. Done blondes as well. So I don't think I've ever done blondes before, just because like I'm so intimidated by them because I find them so pretty.
My approach, you basically start with the most intimidating first.
Yeah.
Kill the biggest
Yeah.
giant
Yeah.
first. So you find something that you're like, holy fuck, I could never do that.
Yeah.
Okay, that's your starting point. Because once you kill that giant, everything's easier than that.
Yeah.
And that's the hardest one to knock over, right?
Then tomorrow let's do a bit more, a few more blondes.
The only drawback here is that it was pouring rain outside today.
Yes.
You're somewhat dependent on the elements. But yes, any that I see, you go, you
exactly.
go, right?
Yeah.
And
Absolutely.
we'll
No
try
doubt
and
about
we'll try and hit some more of that. Okay.
Okay.
Thank you guys for watching. And yeah, good night. We'll chat
Cheers,
soon.
guys. We'll catch you tomorrow.